No, I'm not busy right now. Um, yeah, you want to grab a yogurt? That sounds like fun. What? No way. You're kidding. No, 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 I don't have to study right now. I have time. Go ahead. Yeah, no. I just turn that off. If you're like me, you probably don't like to study. I avoid it at all costs. Just as right now, I just kind of give you an example of what most of us do when it's time to kind of get down to business and get into our work time and study time. And I tell myself there's a lot more stuff I'd like to be doing. So today I kind of made a little list for you. I'm going to just kind of, read through it. And it says things to do. I can, rather than studying, I'd rather be going to Starbucks or sleeping or snacking or walking my dog or going to the movies, watch TV, play outside Starbucks again, sleep, more sleep. There's many things that we can find ourselves wanting to do rather than studying, but I think if we find a way that will help us to be motivated to study, then we want to do more of it. So I want to go through what the text says about studying, just a very simple way that it explains it. It says studying is an activity that promotes learning. And if we find ways that help promote learning in a fun manner, or even in a way that just kind of makes sense to us as individuals, I think it would be a lot easier. A lot of the times we're distracted, just as the phone kind of gave you an example of that, or even having a TV on, or having loud music playing. There's a lot of different things that cause us to get really, really unfocused. So today I kind of made a little diagram, and it looks like this. Just going to kind of show it to the camera here if I can. Sorry, bear with me. I'm learning how to use all this technology stuff. And 1 is says preview, 2 is attend, 3 is review, 4 is study, and 5 is assess. And this is called the study cycle. I found this online, which is pretty cool because, there's different ways you can look at a cycle of studying. But this one stuck out to me because it just gives you 5 easy steps to kind of go through. Preview is basically when you're going through your information, when you first take a class or a course of any of that nature, you would go through the chapters prior to taking the class, or note taking, or going through any headlines in the chapters while you're reading, and just kind of highlighting what kind of stands out prior to going into a classroom setting. And this does help because I never used to do this before, so this is something that I've been practicing doing even in ministry. Like before I show up to something, I kind of want to know the layout of what we're going to be getting into prior to going, so this way I have a clear understanding of what I'm about to learn, what I'm about to get, so it makes it more exciting and more easier to learn. 2, honestly, this is probably one of the biggest things, is go to class. It honestly, it's important to show up. When we don't, we can miss things in lectures, we can miss information or misunderstand something that we can get from a friend or a classmate that you won't get in the classroom setting when it's being explained. So just show up. That's easy. Part 2. 3 is review. Reviewing the information is probably going to be one of the good tools that stands out. Knowing the information. So if I were going to come to class and want to learn about music theory, I want to have a clear understanding of what that is. Therefore, going through the proper channels of just being submersed into it and allowing myself to be open to the material. And when we review it, it gives us a good understanding of all the information we need, and it just gives us the overall knowledge of information. So when you leave class, right after, you want to review, you want to go through it, maybe read or skim through the text or summarize things that stood out in the class that'll help you remember. Note taking, kind of like when we were learning about Cornell notes, asking those questions to get those simple answers on the side to just kind of break it down in an easier way for us to understand it. And the 4th thing is actually studying. And when we get into that, you're going to want to take about 30 to 50 minutes is what I found when I was kind of looking up the information. And it's showing that 30 to 50 minutes on reviewing your notes can really, really help work out any problems. just because it's repetitiveness, and when we repeat things, it helps build our short-term memory to our longer-term memory, and that's really important when we're learning to study. And last, it's going to be assess. We're going to assess all the information by building our confidence in what the information is, and that can be something as simple as, you know, when you're going through rereading and repeating it, and repetitiveness, that's so important. You're going to want to repeat because that helps us reassure our confidence in what we know and that we're understanding the information. And one of the biggest questions I always ask is, do I understand? And if I don't, that gives me time to kind of go through each step once again to kind of get back to refocusing. If I did miss something or if I didn't understand something clearly, I can ask a classmate or email my teacher and get that information, or even just go through text or do a little bit more research on that. So those are things, you know, you're going to want to start with. 1, you're going to preview. 2, you're going to attend. 3, you're actually going to review it. 4, you're going to study. And 5, you're going to assess the information. I did, however, want to share, lastly, some intense learning sessions that we can go through by setting goals for about 1 to 2 minutes. I found this online, which is pretty cool, pretty awesome. That it's, you know, what do you want to accomplish when you're setting your goal? You know, what's the thing that stands out for you? You're going to want to study with focus. That'll take about 30 to 50 minutes by organizing and summarizing the process of material and reflection. You're going to want to reward yourself, which is something I like to do. So sometimes I like to just snack on my peanuts here and my pretzels, and that's something I enjoy, is my snacks. So I like snack time. Break time is a cool time for me. And you're also going to want to look at all the information as a whole. So summarize it and put it all together and understand why studying is important. When you can do these 5 things, this can really help build your confidence in knowing how to study and understanding information. Thank you.